Before we start, we would like to thank all of our family and friends for all the love that you've given us over the past few days. The support has been overwhelming, and I'm sure that our Father would have been amazed and humbled. It's with great honor that I stand before you here today and have the privilege to share our Father's legacy in a eulogy that we have titled The Perfect Touch. For the grandkids standing here, think of this as a story of the celebration of Papa's life, how he would want you to remember him. Our Father was a very special person, and even though his relationships were slightly different for each and every one of us, they all had common threads: love, laughter, loyalty, support, honor, respect, wisdom, sacrifice, and quick-wittedness. Dad was born on April 4th, 1944. He loved to share that with people. 4-4-44. The second son in a family of 5 orphan brothers, his mother and father worked relentlessly to support them. Grandpa was a blue-collar steel worker and picked up odd jobs to support them with Grandma. And Grandma sure worked overtime consistently to keep up with the housework and home care in his home. This is the upbringing that laid the foundation for our Father's work ethic and values that he carried with him throughout his life. Each time Dad would share a story with us about his childhood, it almost always contained a funny story about he or his brothers pulled a fast one on someone or on each other. We can say with certainty he loved his brothers and cherished the moments at family gatherings when he could share in their love and laughter with them. Dad graduated high school in 1962 and joined the military in '63. Having a father himself that served in World War II, Dad, we're sure, felt a sense of loyalty to his country and entered the Air Force to serve tour duty in Vietnam. He served for 4 years as a radio control operator. And it was during that time that he solidified our special relationship with our mother. In 1967, he took our mother's hand in marriage and began his own family. Dad modeled for us how to be a loving and devoted husband. He loved my mom unconditionally for 49 years. This April would have made their 50th. Dad, having the work ethic that he did, and with the help and support of his newly formed family, soon built his own house. It was during this time that he also found his trade and became a tool and die maker. First at a small tool shop, and then landed an opportunity at General Motors. Dad sacrificed many long, hard hours and took advantage of the opportunity that GM gave him for 36 years to provide for his wife and family. He always provided us with the needs of an average family, but was always willing to work extra to provide extra for us too. Financially, Dad always stressed to us how to save for the future and modeled that throughout his life. Dad was always a family man in every aspect. He was supportive financially, but his support did not stop there. He was a loving teacher and coach too, guiding my sister and I every chance he could. Whether it was learning how to hold a baseball bat, teaching us how to drive a car, helping us with homework, showing how to tie a fishing knot, or encouraging us to further our education. He was a father that always wanted us to better ourselves. Dad loved to share with you how to do something new or how to fix something. The truth is, our Father loved to help anyone. This is why we are sure he had so many friends and close relationships He was a servant in his faith and to any friend, family, or neighbor that needed a helping hand. I wish we had a penny for every time someone said to us, "Your dad came over today and fixed it for me." I remember his excitement one time with the opportunity to help Jody and I remodel our basement. After taking him downstairs and showing him how Jody and I had stripped and tore out all of the old paneling and walls, he looked around and studied the room and asked how much of the basement we wanted refinished. He was thinking it was only one small room, and we had other ideas. His excitement soon turned to his quick-witted sarcasm as we described the ideas for the entire basement to be remodeled. He looked at me and Jody in his typical sarcastic humor and asked if he could put in for vacation time now. His skills at General Motors allowed him to be very precise and detailed. He loved to use these skills with one of his passions, woodworking. His talents were amazing as he built, refinished, and fixed countless pieces of furniture throughout his life. His passion continued right up until the end, as I found his next project still sitting on his workbench in his workshop just yesterday. His eye for detail was impressive as well. As I worked with him on many jobs after he retired, he would always amaze me with his knowledge on how to build or repair something. He used to joke about it when talking with people who would ask him if we could fix something. His response was, "We do everything but nuclear." He taught us not to be satisfied with just being close. He would always make sure that the last piece would fit exact. Many times it was frustrating to watch and wait as he fiddled with putting the finishing pieces together or remeasure something for the 14th time. His reward usually was not monetary, but his own satisfaction that the job was being done right, and he loved to end it with a celebratory beer or two. He always seemed to have the perfect touch when completing a project. Dad had a coolness and a calmness about him wherever he went. Rarely did he show nervousness, and typically found solutions when finding himself in tight spots. During his boating years, he had the steadiness of a surgeon with his ability to park his boat in a tight dock space, which was usually also accompanied by a minimum of 2 to 3 arguments with Mom, who wanted to give her last-second advice each time. If you were to describe his personality to someone who didn't know him, you might say that he was funny and witty without being obnoxious. He could get angry, but never violent. He was caring and compassionate, but didn't allow you to feel self-pity. He was confident, but never cocky. He was blue-collar, and he had class. He loved to think through problems, yet he was simple. He had a way of using what we called disgusted sarcasm, which, when agitated, was hysterical. He had the perfect touch. His love for his grandchildren was never-ending. The sparkle in his eyes while watching them in a basketball or baseball game stood out even around all papas in the crowd. He loved to brag about his grandkids' abilities and always found words of encouragement for them. His favorite times with them were spent being silly, and he loved performing his buffoonery for them to reinforce his love. As we say goodbye to you today, Dad, please know how much you are loved and how much you will be missed. The Lord is taking you to be with him and walk with Jesus. maybe to help with a job, or build something, or maybe off to drive a Corvette somewhere with friends and family that you have joined. Whatever he has planned for you, we know that you will give it the perfect touch.